Taking a look at our starting lineups, 4 seniors and a junior for the Wolfpack. Syracuse, 4 seniors and a freshman in their starting lineup. The highest scoring backcourt in the country with Alexis Peterson and Brittney Sykes. Those two combined average nearly 41 points per game. If Syracuse wants to win this one against the 23rd ranked Wolfpack, those two are going to have to step up for the Orange.
Absolutely, Michael. And Alexis Peterson, what I expect from her is what she's done all year, which is score the basketball. No matter who Syracuse has gone up against so far this season, Alexis Peterson has shown up, so I'm expecting her to score around 22 points as usual. She might even be able to get a couple more. It's up to the rest of her teammates to keep Syracuse into this game because NC State, it's a very talented defensive team. Alexis Peterson can't do it by herself.
You just saw the names of the officials: Dee Kantner, Jeffrey Smith, and Erica Harriman-Camarota. This one about to get underway. Syracuse in the home white uniforms, NC State the road reds. Chelsea Nelson and Briana Day set to tip off in this one, and the tip is won by the Orange. Syracuse averages 82 points per game. NC State only gives up about 54 per contest. And the Wolfpack come away with the opening rebound off the miss from Gabby Cooper. NC State, a team not necessarily known for its offense, but the Wolfpack can score it as Nelson knocks it down, the 6'2 junior from Tennessee.
She's coming off of a career high of 23 against Wake Forest in her last game, so she's been hot lately. Watch out.
Here's Brittney Sykes with a jump shot, and she knocks it down. Sykes averages nearly 18 points per game, and she ties this one at 2.
Recorded her 6th double-double against Boston College and a win for Syracuse in its last game. She's been hot, too.
Pass inside, Nelson, an easy 2 points as a pair of white jerseys hit the floor. Nelson with 4 points, taking advantage of Syracuse with a couple of players tripping in the paint.
Looked like Day and Slim collided and went down. It was an easy 2.
Here's Peterson's jump shot, and it's rebounded by Ashley Williams. Two teams that have plenty of experience, 8 seniors on the court. Chelsea Nelson, the lone junior, she has all 4 points for the Wolfpack, and Gabby Cooper, the only freshman. Here's Nelson working her way against Day, and Chelsea Nelson has 6 points.
2 points for Chelsea Nelson. NC State 6, Syracuse 2.
Briana Day tries to respond on the other end, but Nelson affects the shot, and here come the Wolfpack.
That's the matchup to watch. NC State's going to keep going to Nelson until Day proves that she can stop her.
Syracuse averages a scoring defense that gives up just around 67 points per game. And no good on this shot. Rebound to Briana Day. Peterson pushes the pace. Isabella Slim for 3. And possession to stay with Syracuse off of the miss. Coach Q looks on. The Syracuse coaching staff has come up with a formula. Von Reed's the one that really came up with it, and it's based on getting offensive rebounds, taking a lot of shots, and forcing a lot of turnovers, as Slim is called for an illegal screen. That's the first foul on Slim and the first Syracuse team foul.
And Michael, we're so used to seeing Syracuse fire up a lot of threes very early in this game, but Slim's the only one who shot one thus far. It looks like NC State's unsettling Syracuse a bit inside the dome.
Dominique Wilson runs as a guard for NC State, and she knocks down a 3.
That's a 3-point field goal for Dominique Wilson.
Wilson averages more than 10 points per game, one of 3 NC State players that average double figures. And here's a 3-second violation called on Briana Day.
3-second violation.
Wes Moore's defense stepping it up here, already forcing a pair of Syracuse turnovers 2.5 minutes into this contest.
Going back to Wilson, Michael, we talk so much about Maya Spencer, Chelsea Nelson. People forget Wilson, 2nd All-ACC last year, so she can play as well.
Williams, her 3-point shot is rebounded by Syracuse's Gabby Cooper. Brittney Sykes off the pass from Peterson. And Briana Day forces the jump ball along with Maya Spencer. Would have been an offensive rebound. Instead, Spencer was able to force the held ball, which gives possession to the Wolfpack.
Day was very close to grabbing the offensive board, but Spencer, so quick as the lead guard for NC State, got her hand right in there, forced the jump ball.
Our first look at the Syracuse full court press, and while it didn't force a turnover in the backcourt, NC State may be working a little fast, and Coach Q's team forces their first turnover.
Yeah, that's Syracuse for you, Michael. Push the pace, whether it's on defense, making NC State go quickly. On offense, we know Syracuse is going to go quickly. That's the name of the game for Quentin Hillsman and SU.
Man-to-man defense for NC State. Again, a team that is the second best scoring defense in the ACC. Day gets her own rebound. Once again, another offensive board. How about from 3? No. Isabella Slim gets the rebound, and now Syracuse with a 4th try.
That's 2 shots that have rimmed all the way around and out for SU.
Peterson with the step back. And this time, NC State comes down with the rebound. Here's Ashley Williams. Right now, North Carolina State 4 for 6 from the field. Matherin shot rebounded by Alexis Peterson.
Yeah, and Syracuse just 1 of 10 from the field, so that's how you have the 9-2 deficit for the Orange.
Brittney Sykes has the lone 2 points for Syracuse in this contest. Peterson loses it inside, and NC State once again with that defense that just covers you from all around. Williams tries from outside, and Day the rebound for Syracuse.
And if you're Syracuse, you're okay with that shot. That's NC State going quickly. Again, Syracuse will take those all night.
Peterson from outside, and she knocks it down. First 3 points of the game for Alexis Peterson. And now Syracuse forces the turnover in the backcourt with your top scoring duo in the country. The Syracuse bench loves it. We see our first sub into the game for SU. It's Briana Day checking in for her sister Briana.
And the press there working again for Syracuse. Forces an NC State turnover, more offense for the Orange.
Sykes now from outside, and she knocks it down. 5 points for Brittney Sykes. Syracuse has scored the last 6, and it's now just a 1-point game. Williams open from the corner, and she responds. Ashley Williams, 3rd in the ACC with a 42% three-point percentage. She averages nearly 8 points per game. Most of them come from three-point range. Peterson runs the point for Syracuse. Briana Day sets the screen. 10 to shoot for the Orange. Cooper lets one fly from 3. She remains cold as Maya Spencer comes down with the board for the Wolfpack. 4-point game, more than midway through this first quarter. Here's Matherin, her lefty layup, rebounded by Day.
NC State was going inside offensively earlier. Since then, it's been a lot of outside shooting for the Wolfpack, and Syracuse has cut the deficit.
Peterson with a step back. Ball loose on the ground, and an offensive foul on the rebound called against the Orange. Lots of offense early on. Chelsea Nelson has 6 points for the Wolfpack. Meanwhile, Alexis Peterson pulls the Orange within 4. It's a 4-point NC State lead. Action just starting here in the first quarter. Williams knocks down a 3 out of the timeout. That's her 2nd of the game.
You mentioned earlier, Michael, she's got an excellent percentage from deep, and she's had 2 open ones and knocked them down.
Briana Day finishes on the opposite end with her first 2 points of the game. Syracuse trails by 5. The Orange has first forced a couple of turnovers with that full court press, although it's opened up a couple of shots for the Wolfpack, and Dominique Wilson knocks down the free throw line jumper. That's 5 points for Wilson. It's only been 3 scores for the Wolfpack, but 3's all they've needed so far. Nelson with 6, Wilson with 5, and Williams with 6. Peterson, a long 2, knocks it down. Peterson has 5 points to go along with the 5 that Sykes has. Briana Day the other 2 for the Orange in a 5-point game.
Good sign for Syracuse that Sykes and Peterson are heating up the 2 top scorers for the Orange. They're going to need to do everything they can to win this game for Syracuse tonight.
Here's Spencer, and her pass is tipped out of bounds. Possession to stay with the Wolfpack. Jade Phillips checks into the game as Sykes goes out.
There was a nice defensive play by Abby Grant to tip it away from Spencer. Spencer got by her, but she was able to stick her right hand in there and tip it behind.
12 seconds on the shot clock for the Wolfpack. Spencer set to inbound, gets it to Williams. 7 to shoot. Here's Spencer. She's scoreless so far today. Inside, and an offensive rebound for D.D. Rogers. Fresh shot clock for the Wolfpack. Jump shot Wilson, rebounded by Phillips. So a good defensive possession by Syracuse, even with the offensive rebound for NC State. Grant and Phillips play catch back and forth as two of the first 3 subs into the game for the Orange.
Both teams going to the bench early in the first quarter here.
One problem for Syracuse this season has been bench scoring. You have the top duo in the country in Peterson and Sykes, but it's everyone else that hasn't necessarily stepped up this year, as Isabella Slim had an offensive rebound for a moment, and the held ball keeps possession with Syracuse.
Back to your point about the bench scoring, you look at players like Julia Chandler and Abby Grant really predominantly in there to shoot the 3-ball, and so when those shots aren't falling for Syracuse, really don't help too much. They're not going to hit on the offensive end.
Well, Syracuse has 3 players that average double figures. Alexis Peterson, Brittney Sykes, and Briana Day. Gabby Cooper averages nearly 9 per game, and Isabella Slim's right around the 6 points per game mark. After that, Julia Chandler's your next highest scorer, and she scores less than 4 per game. Possession here goes to NC State off the SU miss. And sure, Syracuse can be good enough when you have players like Peterson and Sykes and Day, but you do need those 4th and 5th players to step up. And it's not that you need someone necessarily averaging double figures, but more than 4 points per game for your 6th highest scorer as Maya Spencer knocks down her first 3 points of the game.
The team's just very young coming off the bench. Day, a senior, Bria Day, but then after that, all sophomores and freshmen for Syracuse. So you hope as the season goes on that can improve.
Sykes' shot, rebounded by Spencer, as NC State has limited Syracuse enough on the offensive end, and it'll send Dominique Wilson to the free throw line. Sykes called for the foul. That's her first, and the 3rd team foul on Syracuse. Wilson's an 86% free throw shooter, 38 of 44 from the line, but she cannot make the first. Alexis Peterson, Bria Day, and Gabby Cooper check into the game. Briana Day, Jade Phillips, Abby Grant check out. Wilson last year was a 2nd team All-ACC selection. Played her freshman year at Arkansas before transferring to NC State. Sat out the 2013-14 season before playing the last couple of years with the Wolfpack. 1 of 2 for Wilson. She has 6 points. 3 NC State players have 6. 1 more with 3. Less than a minute to play. Sykes to the hoop. She thought she got fouled. Instead, here comes Wilson in transition. Spencer attacks the lane. And an offensive foul called against Spencer. She's looking at the official as if to say, what did I do? Let's take a look. Well, the official made a kicking motion with her foot as if to say, when you went by, you tripped the player. A la Grayson Allen. As Alexis Peterson knocks down the 3. So Peterson takes advantage of the offensive foul. She has 8 points. Shot clock off, so the Wolfpack can hold for 1 with a 6-point lead. And here's a travel inside as Briana forces the travel from D.D. Rogers.
Excellent defense from Syracuse. That's how you turn defense into offense right there. Now Syracuse with the opportunity for the final shot.
5 seconds left. You got to think Peterson's going to be the one to take it. Nifty move into the lane. It's slim. Good if it goes, but it does not.
10 minutes in the books to score.
Well, after a quarter of play, NC State led by as many as 9. The Orange has cut that to 6. Second quarter up next on ACC Network Extra. Well, this week, Alexis Peterson was named a Wooden Award midseason watch list player, one of the top 25 players in the country, and she has certainly showed why in the first quarter. 8 points for Peterson to lead all scorers. Syracuse trails by 6, but Alexis Peterson only 12 points away coming into today's game from moving into 5th place on Syracuse's all-time scoring list. Make that 4 points now with her big first quarter.
At the beginning of the year, Coach Quentin Hillsman called her the best point guard in the country, and she's certainly been playing like it.
NC State ball to begin the second quarter. The Wolfpack ranked 23rd in the country. NC State shooting the ball at a 53% clip after 10 minutes of play, including 4 of 7 from three-point range.
That's been the difference.
Here's another three-pointer. This one missed, but an offensive rebound for Matherin off her own missed three. What does Syracuse need to do defensively to try and put a little wrinkle in the rhythm that NC State has shown?
Well, early NC State was going down low, but since then they've shot a lot of threes, so I'd say get out on the shooters.
Here's Williams, and she knocks down her 3rd three of the game. 9 points for Ashley Williams.
She's been very impressive.
Peterson with the response. 11 points for Alexis Peterson, including 3 three-pointers. There's a blocking foul called against Briana Day. Coach Quinn Hillsman is going, boy, I thought she was there.
Yeah, she had her mouth open and looking to the bench as if, what, I can't believe it, but there, it's a close one. Was she moving her feet when the contact happened? It's a judgment call.
Coaches will say, get your foot on the baseline, and then there's no question about it. Here is an offensive foul as Chelsea Nelson went right into Gabby Cooper. Wes Moore, none too pleased as he turns to his own bench. Syracuse trails by 6. The Orange led by Alexis Peterson with 11 points. Brittney Sykes with 5. Briana Day has the other 2. All 3 of those players are on the court, along with Gabby Cooper for the Orange and Abby Grant. Here's Sykes to the rim. Her layup is no good, but a foul.
This is going to be SU's first trip to the free throw line tonight. That was a nice aggressive move by Sykes, as we see here on the replay. Right into the paint, got to the hole. Layup was no good, but she was fouled.
Sykes is 73% free throw shooter. She's gotten there 73 times. That's the second most on the team behind Alexis Peterson. Sykes knocks down the first.
And I think this is a key for Syracuse. Yes, the Orange can shoot the 3 very well, but you don't want to settle for those 3-point shots all the time. Getting to the hoop's going to be very important against this NC State team.
1 of 2 for Sykes. Day almost was able to grab the rebound.
And then for NC State, if they can keep shooting the ball from downtown the way they have, why go away from it? Williams has been on fire.
NC State, a team that is second in the ACC with more than 8 three-pointers made per game. The Wolfpack are already at 5. Ely's pass intended for Nelson goes wild. Syracuse ball.
And that was a great defensive play by Alexis Peterson, who was off the ball. She got right into the face of Ashley Williams, denied the pass. So there, the NC State player had no choice but to drive the basketball. She couldn't kick it out. And that was thanks to Alexis Peterson. SU gets the turnover and now the ball.
Isabella Slim checks into the game for Julia Chandler. It's Slim, Peterson, Sykes, Day, and Cooper. The 5 starters are the 5 that are in the game right now for the Orange. Cooper off the dribble, can't bank it home, and Spencer comes down with the board.
Bit of a wild one from her right there.
"15 seconds on the shot clock for NC State. Here's Nelson inside, and she makes her first 2 points since the first 2 minutes of the contest. NC State, a team that started the game going inside to Nelson, then started hitting threes, and now back inside. Nelson has 8. Cooper rebounds the Sykes miss, and a fresh shot clock for the Orange.
And for NC State, that's been working both the inside game and the outside game.
Peterson from outside, no. Spencer the rebound for the Wolfpack.
She wisely pulled away right there. Didn't want to drive with 3 SU defenders waiting for her. Smart play.
4 minutes into the second quarter. Mathurin knocks down her first points of the game. All 5 starters for the Wolfpack have now scored. NC State with a 10-point lead, the largest of the game. Peterson can't respond. And this ball goes out of bounds. The original signal was to NC State. The officials huddle up, and the call changed to Syracuse.
And there you see NC State coach Wes Moore clapping. He knew that was the right call, and it was eventually made.
Abby Grant, Bria Day in the game for Gabby Cooper and Briana Day. Syracuse down by 10, largest deficit of the game for the Orange. Peterson attacks the lane, goes up, makes the basket, and gets the foul. Peterson's fired up. She has 13 points and is now 5th all-time in school history.
And that's a nice hoop to get that record right there, Michael. Explodes to the basket, gets fouled, and makes her layup. Very nice play from Alexis Peterson.
3-point play for Peterson. She has 14 points and 1,607 points for her career. And Slim called for the foul. That's the second foul on Slim and the second team foul this quarter on the Orange. Alexis Peterson lost her shoe. It's a 5-on-4 for the Wolfpack. If they hurry, they do. Lucky Rudd, no good on the shot. And possession to Syracuse.
Michael, we talked at the beginning of the game. Alexis Peterson, we knew she was going to get her points, and 14 so far tonight. For the rest of Syracuse, Brittney Sykes has 6, Briana Day has 2, and that's it. That's it for the Orange. SU needs some more balance to try to get back into this game. Right now down only 7. When you flip it to NC State, a whole host of players have gotten in on the scoring. 5.
Peterson's got her shoe back on. Alexis Peterson, 14 points with 2 shoes, none with only 1, so probably the smart idea to lace that one up tight. Spencer comes away with the steal. Syracuse a little lackadaisical all the way to the rim. Maya Spencer has 5 points, and the Wolfpack up by 9.
On offense there, Bria Day caught the ball outside the 3-point arc, and you could tell she was uncomfortable. Telegraphed a pass to Peterson, tipped away, and NC State got 2. Nice defensive play.
Well, Bria Day has not attempted a 3-point shot yet this year. Her sister Briana has 2 attempts, but is unsuccessful on both. The jump shot from about 15 feet is unsuccessful as well. 5.5 to play, second quarter. NC State a 9-point lead over Syracuse. The Wolfpack with fairly balanced scoring as far as the 5 starters go. Williams has 9, Nelson with 8. Those are the 2 leading scorers for NC State. 5 to shoot. Here's Spencer. Pull-up jump shot is pure. Spencer's beginning to heat up. She has 7 points. averages nearly 11 per game this season. And the Wolfpack have their largest lead of the game at 11 points, followed by an offensive foul on Briana Day. That's her first, the team's third of the quarter. Syracuse is struggling on offense. NC State's doing it with the defense and leading by 11. NC State has an 11-point lead, and a big reason for that, Maya Spencer, second leading scorer for the season on this NC State team, and she has 7 points tonight for the Wolfpack.
She's looked very solid lately, got off to a bit of a slow start for NC State. It was Chelsea Nelson and Ashley Williams who were scoring early, but Spencer's gotten in on the action. And NC State, right now, they're firing on all cylinders, shooting just under 60% from the field.
Well, Spencer grew up watching Allen Iverson. That's why she wears number 3, and she's looked a bit like Allen Iverson so far tonight. Does it both passing and scoring as Nelson catches inside and finishes.
NC State field goal by Jennifer Monterine.
It's a 13-point game for NC State. The Wolfpack in the lead over the Orange.
So 59% from the field for NC State. For Syracuse, just 27, and now that'll be a little lower.
Spencer comes down with the rebound. Here she comes in transition, all the way to the rim, gets the bucket, but it's an offensive foul. Let's take a second look.
Yeah, I got to see this one again. Nice play from Alexis Peterson, so good on offense, and they're showing off her defensive abilities too.
And again, in the women's game, it's the navy blue line as far as the restricted arc goes, not the white line. It used to be in the men's game that navy blue line as well that you see inside, but it was moved out a few feet. As here's a 3, and it's good for Abby Grant.
We talked about bench scoring right there for Syracuse, the first bench points of the evening.
Grant averages right around 3 points per game, so she's at her average with just 1 basket. Here's Matherin from outside, and she responds.
Wolfpack field goal, Jennifer Monterine.
8 points for her. And NC State leads by 13 as Peterson's jump shot is rebounded by the Wolfpack.
Matherin again, and coming in, she's shooting 30% from deep, which is good, but other players on NC State have much higher percentages. She's not a player Syracuse figured they'd have to look out for, but she's hit her last 2. I've been very impressed with her.
Jump shot for Wilson. Sykes the rebound for SU. 3-on-3, even numbers for both teams. Sykes with the nifty pull-up and gets the shooter's roll. That's 8 points for Sykes, and SU trails by 11.
So smooth, so pretty. That was a nice play from Sykes.
Response for Dominique Wilson. Back and forth we go. Offense leading the way. The Wolfpack with 40 points. A team that's 9th in the conference, averages right around 73 per game. But NC State, even though they're known for their defense, they can score it too. Peterson to the rim, and she's fouled. A couple of times that Alexis Peterson has been able to draw the foul by being aggressive to the hoop.
That's the team limit of 5 automatic 2 shots for
Peterson
Alexis Peterson.
With 14 points. That leads all scores. 38th straight game that Peterson has reached double figures.
Scoring machine for Syracuse. Now, as we talked about earlier, 5th all-time for the Orange. When it's all said and done with her, what a career.
Peterson can really do it from all aspects. Shoot it from outside, attack the rim, hit the pull-up jump shot. She does it on defense as well. And she knocks down 2 free throws.
And Syracuse fans know about her talent, but she really burst onto the national women's basketball stage during the Orange's national championship game around a season ago. She was spectacular in the NCAAs.
Syracuse forces the turnover. Cooper with the extra pass to Peterson. She was knocked to the floor, no foul. Instead, it's inside called on Briana Day.
She's a little frustrated with herself. I saw her roll her eyes, look to the skies, to say, I was open there, I should have hit that one.
It's the 4th Syracuse team foul, so NC State is not in the bonus. It's the 5th foul in each quarter. It's an automatic 2 shots for the other team. Williams has the ball tipped away by Peterson, and she stepped out of bounds. So Syracuse doing it defensively, trying to claw its way back into the game. Down by 11. What does Syracuse need to do on the offensive end to get back?
Yeah, with 2:20 to go, obviously it's cliche, make your shots, but I'm focusing more defensively. If Syracuse can score the way they have been tonight, that's great. But defensively, they've been a little bit underperforming. If they can improve there, I think that's how you get back into it. Make shots and then get stops, but right now they haven't been able to do either.
Here comes Kayla Ely, extra pass, finish for Nelson. That's 10 points for Chelsea Nelson. Someone who NC State head coach Wes Moore calls very athletic, especially on the offensive end. Here's Brittney Sykes, tough step back, but she banks it home. Little kiss off the glass for Sykes, she's in double figures. Almost an offensive foul as Williams pushed off Cooper. Not called by the officials as NC State works it over midcourt. Day tipped this shot. Sykes got the rebound falling to the floor, and now here comes Syracuse. See if the Orange can turn its defense into offense as SU trails by 11. Ely took it away for a moment, but a kick ball will give possession to Syracuse.
That was a heads-up play. Peterson focusing very intently on Coach Quentin Hillsman there. Forgot a little bit that the play was going on, it looked like. Ely ran right up, nearly stole the ball. Here we see it again. Look at her talking to Coach Q, and she realizes she's got a defender right on her back. Luckily, the ball stays with the Orange.
Tried to play soccer, keep away with it on the ground. As Alexis Peterson has the ball with just more than a minute left in this first half. And a foul called against Akila Mays.
Foul number 32.
So 2 free throws coming up for Syracuse as the Orange is in the bonus.
Going back to NC State, Michael, on offense. The Wolfpack is 12-1 when 3 or more players score 10-plus points in a game. So Nelson is 10 already. And then Williams with 9, Spencer 7, Matherin 8, Wilson 8. They're closing in on 3 players in double figures. Not a good sign for the Orange.
Peterson with a rare miss from the free throw line. The Columbus, Ohio native is an 82% free throw shooter as Bria Day checks out of the game. Peterson with 16 points tonight, trying to pull the Orange within 10, and she does.
NC State 42, Syracuse 32.
NC State has led by double figures for the last 5 minutes of this game. 1 minute left until halftime, and the Syracuse trying to step it up on defense. The Orange gets the rebound off the miss, and here comes Gabby Cooper.
Good stop by Syracuse. Now, can you score, maybe cut it to single digits before the break? I think Coach Q would take that as a victory for the Orange because his team played a little bit disappointingly to start this game.
The Orange could go 2 for 1 if they take a shot fairly soon here. 7 to shoot. Here's Cooper, the freshman, attacks the rim. Can't finish. Slim the offensive rebound, and she's fouled.
Nice hustle play by Isabella Slim there. It wasn't boxed out. All the defenders were focusing on Cooper, who drove and grabbed the board, went up for 2, and was fouled.
2 shots coming for Isabella.
I also got to credit Julia Chandler inside because she took up 2 NC State defenders just on the box out itself. Slim, a 69% free throw shooter, can't connect on the first. Slim's only gotten to the free throw line 24 times. 16 of 24 now. 0 of 2 as Syracuse still can't pull within 10. And NC State can hold for the last shot. Ely runs point for the Wolfpack, guarded by Peterson. Senior guarding a freshman. Ely to the rim, and she wins that battle. After 20 minutes of play, NC State has led this one from the tip. The Wolfpack have led by double digits for the last 5 minutes and 7 seconds. 44-32, Wolfpack by 12 at the break. Syracuse ready to begin the second half as the Orange trails by 12 at its home floor inside the Carrier Dome. 6 different scores for the Wolfpack as Coach Q's squad has had 4 different scores, but it's been predominantly Alexis Peterson and Brittney Sykes. The top scoring backcourt in the country this season has combined for 27 of SU's 32 points, and Peterson and the Orange begin with the ball in half number 2. Man-to-man defense for the Wolfpack. Sykes with a nifty pass inside for Day.
That's a great start for Syracuse. Look for the Orange to try to go inside a little bit more in the second half. Pump fake from Sykes, down low to Day, right-handed layup and the foul. Nice play for Syracuse. And then on the NC State side, they've been able to score both down low and the three-point shot. I expect one of those to dry up a little bit, and if Syracuse can take really one of those away defensively, then they got a chance to get back into the game.
First time that Syracuse has had it within single digits since the 5:07 mark of the first half. Cooper came away with the steal there, but traveled.
She ran into Briana Day right there. Just an unfortunate play for Syracuse. Had the steal, but traveled because she collided with her own play.
Turnover number 14 comes via a travel from Jennifer Matherin, as Coach Q is trying to instill some fire in his team. Wes Moore, on the other hand, just trying to get his team to play some cleaner basketball here in the third quarter.
Yeah, NC State hasn't seen really any of the ball so far this half. Good start for the Orange.
Cooper's pass for Day, missed a little too high. Too many floors for Day to be able to climb.
But you see what Syracuse is going for. They want to get Day more involved on the offensive end, and I think that's smart.
And Sykes steals the ball and finishes. 3 turnovers in this half for the Wolfpack, who haven't been able to get the ball over midcourt until now. Wilson's three-point shot up in the air, and Slim rips it down and away. Who is the ball going to go to? All 3 officials looking at each other. And they go held ball, possession to NC State.
One official had one way, the other had the other, so jump ball, and really it's the fair way to do it, and it goes to NC State if there's not a consensus.
Less than a minute into the second half, Syracuse has cut into the 12-point NC State lead. It's down to 7, and the Orange is going to get the ball back. Petey's fired up for the Orange.
We've seen her get excited, and here's that play once again. Offensive foul against Spencer. We've also seen Sykes get excited for Syracuse. We haven't even played a minute of the third quarter, but the Orange is bringing the intensity.
Nelson called for the foul. That's her second, and really, that's on Spencer for not going shoulder to shoulder off the screen. Peterson with a rare air ball. You almost never see that from the senior. Gives the ball back to NC State.
Now NC State's going to try a different inbounder. Ashley Williams going to come in to try to settle things down.
This is an NC State team that is second in the ACC as far as fewest turnovers go. The Wolfpack turned it over less than 14 times per game. That's their average this season. Today, NC State has turned it over 13 times.
And that's what happens when you play against Syracuse. You're going to turn the ball over. That defense is just so tight and very tough to play against.
Nelson going up against Day. And here's a foul against Briana Day. That's her third, and the Orange's first of the half. And immediately, Coach Q turns to his bench and sends Bria into the game for her sister. Nelson set to inbound for the Wolfpack, gets it back. 10 points for Nelson, couple of pivots and a finish.
Looks like that's part of NC State's game plan. If Bria Day's into the game, attack her.
Nelson is the leading scorer for the Wolfpack on the season and for the game as Peterson responds. That's her 19th point of the game. 7-point Wolfpack lead. Matherin from outside. Nelson the offensive board for the Wolfpack. Maya Spencer runs the point, gets a screen from Nelson. No foul here. Open three, Wilson. And Sykes rebounds the ball. Here comes the orange. Sykes into traffic, and she's called for the foul. This one goes against Chelsea Nelson. Could have been not quite disastrous for Syracuse, but could have been a turnover with Sykes dribbling into three NC State players.
Yeah, a bit of a mismatch for Syracuse, bailed out by the official's whistle, and now a fresh offensive possession. SU down just 7 after trailing for double digits the majority of the first half.
And that's the third foul on Nelson, so NC State's leading scorer is now on the bench. Here's Brittney Sykes. Gets a screen from Day. Attacks the lane. Goes up. No, but a foul.
Love the aggressiveness from Sykes. Second time she'll be headed to the line tonight. Now Wilson just a little bit late on the transition defensively.
Brittney Sykes will be at the line, shooting a deuce for the Cuse.
It's the first foul on Wilson. Already the fourth NC State foul of the quarter. Brittney Sykes is 1 for 2 from the free throw line today, and she knocks down the first. Here comes number 2.
It's been a great start to the second half for Syracuse. The intensity and really the intelligence on offense. I'm seeing Syracuse be a little bit more patient, and they're getting some steals from the press. Coach Q, I'm sure, is very happy.
The Orange trails by just 5 in a game that SU has not led for the entirety of. Slim is called for the bump and the basket for Wilson.
That's a great bucket by Wilson. Definite foul by Slim. Gave her a bit of a bump, as we'll see right here. Slim bumps her right there, and she somehow makes the 2-point basket. Impressive play.
Well, Dominique Wilson grew up wanting to play football. Her father, Damon, played football at Georgia Tech. As Wilson completes the 3-point play. Certainly was able to take the contact and finish through it, putting the Wolfpack up now by 8.
Yeah, basketball, not a bad alternative at all.
Peterson from outside knocks it down. 4 threes today for Alexis Peterson. She has 22, and a timeout, Wes Moore and NC State. After a 12-point halftime deficit, it's taken just 3 minutes, and the Orange is down by only 5 thanks to Alexis Peterson. Well, she leads the ACC in points per game, and Alexis Peterson leads all scores tonight. 22 points for the Columbus, Ohio native.
And Michael, she leads the ACC with 22.7 points, so she's very close to improving that number. How great has she been, not only tonight, but all season? Really the heart and soul of this Syracuse team. And remember, SU was down double digits at the break. Not anymore against NC State, and it's all because of Peterson.
Peterson named to the Wooden Award midseason watch list earlier this week. She's trying to pull Syracuse back in this game as the Orange trails by 5.
Great trap here.
Both Sykes and Day force the timeout from Dominique Wilson. Syracuse's defense, you said in the first half, needed to get better. What have you seen here in the second half that has allowed Syracuse to improve defensively?
It's made NC State uncomfortable, and that's what happens when you get a couple of quick steals off of the press. All of a sudden, NC State lacks the confidence. I mean, it was there earlier, but the confidence that it had in the first half, it can break the press, no problem. But earlier in the game, that it was easy. Now it's been a lot tougher for them.
Syracuse trails by just 5 after being down by 12 at the half. Brittney Sykes, we've talked so much about Alexis Peterson, but Sykes has 4 points so far here in the second half, 14 total for the game, and she complements Alexis Peterson so well.
Yeah, Peterson gets so much credit, but people forget Sykes. She's third in the ACC in scoring at over 17 points per contest. She's no slouch either.
Syracuse on defense 10 to shoot for the Wolfpack after Syracuse forced the timeout because of a trap. inside. Mays finishes off the pass from Maya Spencer.
It's a nice pick and roll from NC State. They hadn't had a bucket in a little bit, and that's a nice way to get back into it. Good timeout for the Wolfpack to get an offensive play. They run it. It works. Now they got to play defense.
First 2 points of the game for Mays, as Syracuse trails by 7. Cooper's threes not close to the hoop, and Gabby Cooper remains scoreless tonight.
She's had a couple of threes that have been way off the mark.
Williams guarded by Slim. Gets it inside for Mays. Syracuse has been hurt a bit inside. Chelsea Nelson leads the Wolfpack with 12 points, but because she has 3 fouls, she's currently on the bench. 7 to shoot. Spencer has 7 points for the game. She takes some contact, but her shot's off the mark, and the ball goes to Syracuse. Julia Chandler and Briana Day check in for Bria Day and Isabella Slim. 5:43 left in the third quarter. Syracuse down by 7. The Orange has not led in this ball game. The score has been tied twice, when the game started and then once more at 2. Zone defense for the Wolfpack as Cooper's bumped and fouled.
She's holding her head, and it's the second time she's been hit up high tonight. Remember, she ran into Briana Day earlier in this game, and here she takes a second one up high. Forearm right to the face.
Contact from Akila Mays, the 6'5" junior from Greensboro, North Carolina. Cooper appears to be okay as her coach looks on. That's the 5th foul, by the way, on NC State. We're not even midway through this third quarter, so free throws could play a huge role in this game. Syracuse is a 74% free throw shooter, the 3rd best in the conference.
You mentioned how Slim doesn't get to the free throw line very often. Gabby Cooper, this is only her 11th free throw attempt, and she hits it.
7 for 11 now from the free throw line for the Lansing, Illinois native. Cooper averages nearly 9 points per game. 2 of 2 for Cooper, and Syracuse's deficit is back to 5. The Orange still pressuring as Briana Day holds the ball with Wilson, and Syracuse has possession.
In the first half, the press was not working like this. In the second half, it's been a revelation. Very, very impressed with what I've seen from the defensive aspect for Syracuse.
14 NC State turnovers. Not even midway through the third quarter. That's for a team in NC State that only averages about 14 turnovers per game. Here's Day going to work against Mays. Steps through and finishes with the left.
That was a nice move from Briana Day. I didn't know she had that one in her arsenal.
7 points for Briana Day. Syracuse down by 3. Williams to respond, and she does.
And there's where the press can give you issues. If you don't get the initial turnover and the opposing team's able to break it, three-point shooters will be open, and Williams is not someone you want to leave open at all.
12 points for Williams, all of them from three-point range. Sykes is blocked, but she's also fouled. There were 3 NC State players there. Some contact. The official determined it was enough to warrant a foul. So Brittney Sykes is at the free throw line, and she makes the first. Sykes averages 18 points per game, and she has 16 tonight.
Brittney Sykes, North Carolina State 54, Syracuse 50.
4-point game. Syracuse still with the full court press. Matherin fouled by Day, and that's Briana Day's 3rd foul. .427 left in the third quarter as NC State holds a 4-point lead over Syracuse. That's just the 3rd team foul on the Orange this quarter. Williams is the player you have to watch for if you're Syracuse as far as three-point shooting goes. Williams a 42% three-point shooter, and she's knocked down 4 of her 6 attempts today. Mays can't knock down the jumper, and Dave rebounds for SU. Sykes off the pass from Peterson, no. A couple of NC State players run into each other, and it's a travel.
Fortunate break for Syracuse after the Sykes miss, but I'm sure the Orange will take it. Down by 4, a chance to cut deeper into the deficit for NC State.
Couple of subs into the game as Bria Day and Isabella Slim check in for Briana Day and Julia Chandler. Peterson runs the point for the Orange. Less than 4 to play in the third quarter between the 23rd ranked NC State Wolfpack and the Syracuse Orange. Sykes, nifty pass inside for Day.
Pass from Brittney Sykes. Day from Sykes. Syracuse within 2.
Brittney Sykes has 3 assists, and Syracuse trails by just 2 points. Matherin from outside, no, and here comes Peterson. Brittney Sykes, baseline, loses the ball to Slim. Peterson attacks, and her pass for Sykes goes out of bounds.
Rare to see the two of those players not on the same page. They've played together for so long, but right there, Peterson made a pass while Sykes ran the other way.
Momentum is fully with SU as Dominique Wilson breaks the SU full court press. 3 minutes to go in the third quarter. What does NC State need to do to try and stop the rhythm Syracuse has found here?
First and foremost, break the press, and they've done so here. And Spencer just a little bit too strong, so first you got to break the press, but then you got to get into your offense, and NC State struggled with that.
Syracuse has a chance to take its first lead of the game, or the Orange can tie it for the first time since the 9.5-minute mark of the first quarter. 10 to shoot for Alexis Peterson, guarded by Maya Spencer. Sykes, extra pass, Isabella Slim for the lead. Syracuse gets the rebound. Peterson for it. No, but Sykes skies for the board. Third opportunity on offense this possession for Syracuse. The Orange has 10 offensive rebounds. SU leads the conference and is 9th in the nation in offensive rebounds per game, and Alexis Peterson ties it up.
If you give Peterson too many chances, eventually she'll make you pay, and that's what happened.
First time since the first 30 seconds this game has been tied, and immediately Akilah Mays breaks that tie.
Great play by Williams. She had the 3, pump faked, made a pass, easy layup for NC State. Ashley Williams, a very intelligent player, and we see the reason right there.
The Wolfpack are shooting 55% from the field. That's why NC State has a 2-point lead with 80 seconds to go in the third quarter. Peterson with 7 to shoot. Stops on a dime. Her shot is airballed. SU has to get one up. Cooper does. And Spencer comes down with the board for NC State. She goes coast to coast, but an errant pass is taken away by Bria Day.
Sykes is lucky she wasn't called for a reaching foul there. Looked like she almost went for the ball, instead hit the player for NC State, but wasn't seen, and now Syracuse basketball.
So once again, Syracuse can tie or take the lead. Still one more quarter to play as Peterson can't make the jump shot. Ball loose and picked up by Mays inside. NC State has had a little bit of a response from the Syracuse run. Spencer all the way to the rim. She makes the basket and the foul. How good is Maya Spencer, the Georgia native, helping to extend the Wolfpack lead to 4 points And how did she finish that?
I'm not sure, and when you need a bucket, as NC State has in this quarter, they've repeatedly gone to Spencer. A lot of times she's had the ball at the top of the key, it's cleared out for her, and she's driven. And right there, she drives to the hole, gets fouled, and makes the layup. She's the top player for NC State and playing like it.
Channeling her inner Allen Iverson, who she idolized growing up. Spencer now heads to the bench as Kayla Ely checks into the game. 5-point NC State lead. Syracuse can hold for the last shot of the quarter. Coach Q holds up his hand and tells his point guard Alexis Peterson to hold for the last shot. 10 seconds. Peterson attacks the lane, goes up, no. Briana fights for the rebound, but Mays comes away with it. 1 second left. Ely, good if it goes, and it does! Kayla Ely beats the buzzer. And after this game was tied at 54, NC State has come back to take an 8-point lead. Ely, onions. You know, sometimes you hit a half-court shot and you win money or a gift or a prize, something. You win something. Well, in this case, Kayla Ely knocks down a half-court shot, and she puts her team up by 8 points. What a shot that was, banking it in at the buzzer. That capping off an 8-0 NC State run after Syracuse tied the game at 54.
Remarkable shot by Ely. And the run you mentioned, Michael, Syracuse played 9 of those 10 minutes nearly flawlessly, and then eventually the last minute NC State goes on that run, and it ends with that miraculous three-point shot. Now a lead for NC State of 8, so very, very important you play the whole quarter.
Well, Syracuse did chip into the NC State 12-point halftime lead, and Day blocks Nelson inside. And the Orange trying to end the Wolfpack run and go on one of its own. Cooper has 2 points today. Her jump shot's good. Well, Gabby Cooper hasn't had too much success from outside the three-point line, but a couple steps inside, and Cooper has 4 points.
Looked cool and confident right there, where it's been the opposite from downtown. Very nice bucket from her.
6-point Wolfpack lead. Almost a minute into this fourth quarter. Rare miss from Williams, and a foul goes against Day inside.
And that time Williams was well defended, whereas she's had a lot of wide open looks for three. That time a defender on her, she missed it, and then a foul underneath against SU.
That's the third foul on Briana, first Syracuse team foul of the quarter. Day heads to the bench. Her sister Briana checks in. 1 minute into the fourth quarter. Back and forth we have gone in this contest as far as runs have gone. Syracuse has not led. The Orange went on a 6-0 run. NC State responded with an 8-0 run. Nelson can't finish, gets her own rebound, can't connect, and now it goes out of bounds to Syracuse. Nelson has 12 points, spent a majority of the third quarter on the bench with 3 fouls. Maybe a little cold as she could not finish inside, and what she has made into an easy shot, at least earlier in the game.
The first chance was difficult, she missed it. The second one, I think she was anticipating some contact, it never came. Now she plays defense for NC State. She'll be a factor down the stretch.
Here's Brittney Sykes. Her pass stolen away by Ely. The redshirt freshman brings the ball into the offensive end for the Wolfpack. NC State holding on to a 6-point lead as we come down the stretch. And a 5-second violation. Brittney Sykes closely guarding Maya Spencer, who just wasn't paying attention.
Remember, if you're not dribbling the ball, they can call you for that 5-second count, and that's exactly what happened with Spencer.
That's NC State's 17th turnover. 2 minutes into the fourth quarter. Peterson with 24 points goes to the rim, and a foul.
Took some real contact there. She's all right, gets back up courtesy of a couple of her teammates, but she really exploded to the basket and then tripped over Matherin. And will she be shooting? It looks like it.
Peterson had certainly picked up the ball as she started her move. Got some contact to that right leg. Tries to walk it off. Sometimes those are the ones that hurt most, just that little contact to the knee or hip area.
We'll see how that contact affects her free throws.
Peterson is 4 for 5 from the free throw line today. An 82% free throw shooter on the season. She knocks down the first.
Yeah, looked pretty good right there. Nothing but net. She's still hobbling around a little bit, just trying to keep moving, really break out of the funk that the injury will give to you there. You get a little banged up, you want to keep moving, try to move away from it, but she looked great on the first free throw.
Peterson is in 5th place all-time on Syracuse's career scoring list. 26 points tonight. All she needed was 12 to move into 5th all-time, and that was a foregone conclusion pretty much before the game started.
She smashed that right away.
26 points for Peterson, and Brittney Sykes forces the charge. An offensive foul called against Kayla Ely. That is Ely's 2nd foul. And now the officials are going to look at if this is a flagrant foul or not.
Yeah, Sykes immediately turned to the official as if to say, you might want to take a look at this. That was a bad one. Let's see.
It was certainly an elbow to the face. Ely was trying to work her way through.
And I think we also have to say, certainly incidental. I don't think there was any intent there.
The question becomes, is it a flagrant foul, as the officials are looking at it right now? It has to be excessive contact. And Wes Moore does not look too pleased. We'll see what the official call is, but looks like this might be a flagrant one.
I believe it will be.
So a flagrant one foul has been assessed to Kayla Ely. So Sykes with 2 free throws, and she knocks down the first. Second free throw just rims out for Sykes, but Syracuse is within 1 possession. Brittney Sykes has 17 points. That's to go along with Alexis Peterson's 26. The next highest score for Syracuse is Briana with 7. And Sykes can't connect on the pass from Peterson. Ball loose on the ground, and Syracuse wins the hustle ball.
SU loves that inbounds play, just a toss up to Sykes, and she usually finishes it off, but wasn't able to there. Good defense from Nelson.
2.5 minutes into the 4th quarter. Peterson for the tie. She is unconscious tonight. 5 3-pointers, 29 points, and we are all tied at 62 as Syracuse is called for the foul on the other end.
All I can say is, wow, she's put the team on her back 100% tonight, and now you see her clapping her hands. She's locked in for the last 7.5.
Cooper steals the ball. Here's Brittney Sykes. No. Peterson, the offensive rebound. She loses it as Spencer comes away with the ball, and Syracuse has to wait at least another possession for its first lead of the game, if it ever comes.
Wild sequence there, but Spencer smartly slows play down. NC State, the last thing they needed to do was push the ball.
The Wolfpack are scoreless in the 4th quarter, 3 minutes into it. Similar to how the 3rd quarter started. 5 to shoot. Wilson. Pirouettes. Ely can't beat the buzzer this time around. The Syracuse defense has stepped up in the 2nd half. NC State had 42 points at the end of half number 1. 18 so far through 13 minutes in the 2nd half.
Great halftime adjustments for Syracuse. Coach Quentin Hillsman deserves a lot of credit for the way his team's played here in half number 2.
SU has never led in this ball game. Peterson from outside one more time. Are you kidding me? 32 points for Alexis Peterson, and Syracuse has its first lead of the game. No one is a bigger fan of Alexis Peterson than Coach Quentin Hillsman, and this is why. 32 points for the senior. How does NC State respond here?
Again, they're waiting till very late in the shot clock for a shot. The response has not been great thus far.
2 to shoot. Spencer doesn't see it until it's too late. Back-to-back shot clock violations.
And this is very loud right now inside the Carrier Dome. These fans are pumped up. Alexis Peterson scoring on offense. Defensively, Syracuse back-to-back shot clock violations forced against NC State. They're doing it on both sides of the ball.
And Peterson's really getting the crowd fired up. She started clapping and looking at some SU fans sitting courtside that are on their feet. Peterson with 32 points. SU a 3-point lead. 13 to shoot. Peterson gives to Sykes. 8 seconds. Screen and roll with Day. Sykes spins through it, goes up, no, and Nelson rebounds for NC State. Dominique Wilson, contact inside, no foul called, and Cooper jumps on it for a held ball.
3 straight turnovers caused by the SU defense. Coach Quentin Hillsman, he will love that. That's what he preaches, tenacious defense. And on the last 3 opportunities offensively for NC State, Syracuse has been that.
And Wes Moore looks on in his 28th year as a head coach. He has plenty of experience, but his team right now looks lost. It's been an 11-0 Syracuse run after NC State had an 8-0 run of their own. Screen and roll, Day, extra pass, Slim, and she finishes.
Beautiful offense from Syracuse. That was a well-designed play.
5-point SU lead, largest of the game for the Orange. Out of bounds possession to stay with NC State. The Wolfpack is scoreless in the 4th quarter. Syracuse is on a 13-0 run. Thanks to Alexis Peterson. She has 32 points. Slim has the Orange up by 5. Well, she's one of the top players in college basketball. Alexis Peterson, a Wooden Award midseason watch list selection, and she has 32 points on 6 3-pointers made tonight.
She's been incredible, Michael, but now for Syracuse, time to defend.
The Orange up by 5. Largest lead of the game for SU as Nelson's fouled, plus the basket.
Yeah, Chelsea Nelson, she's not going to let Syracuse really ride into the sunset in this game. NC State still has a very, very strong possibility to win the ball game, and Nelson, a great post scorer down low for the Wolfpack, shows you right there.
Nelson's free throw off the mark, and Day rebounds for Syracuse. Still a 1-possession ball game. The Orange leading by 3. That basket by Nelson ended a 13-0 Syracuse run to begin the 4th quarter. Cooper's jump shot's good.
Something about that spot. She's already hit one of those jumpers from that very spot on the floor. Make it 2 tonight. Syracuse extends the advantage.
6 points for Nelson, all in the second half, and Sykes called for the foul against Spencer. That's the 5th Syracuse team foul of the quarter, so 2 free throws for Maya Spencer.
Yeah, it's a big one from Sykes, who didn't agree with the call, and Coach Q didn't either, but hey, if you're going to play physical, fouls will be called, and now NC State's going to go to the line the rest of the way.
That's the 3rd foul on Sykes. Spencer is an 80% free throw shooter, 1 of 1 from the stripe today, and she misses the first. Now there's plenty of fans in the arena to at least make it more difficult to shoot than if NC State was at home. Some of those fans underneath the NC State basket waving their arms around trying to distract the senior who knocks down the 2nd free throw. Spencer has 11 points. Syracuse leads by 2 possessions with 4 minutes left to play. Peterson pressured by Williams. And here's a foul against Ashley Williams. That is the first on the senior. Only the third on NC State this quarter. But Alexis Peterson, even when she's pressured, you have full confidence if you're Coach Q that she's not going to lose.
Absolutely not. And that was great defense by Williams. Yes, the foul was called. Again, it's one of those that could go either way. I was very impressed with her. Peterson's quick, but Williams was with her step for step. Unfortunately for her, the foul gets called.
Spencer's the one on Peterson now, with almost every NC State player ready to help. Peterson, pass to Sykes, blocked by Nelson, out of bounds to Syracuse. Chelsea Nelson with the block. What a rim protector she is. Nelson has done it on the offensive end with 14 points, but also doing it defensively.
So here's an example for NC State. You break the press, but then you got to get into the offense.
Matherin shot, and Sykes grabs the rebound out of midair.
Not exactly sure that was the shot Westmore was looking for, although on the bench he's clapping his hands. I think he was fine with it.
Matherin's a player that can knock down that three. She's made 25 of them this season. Here's Isabella Slim, open from 3. 5 points for Isabella Slim. Peterson steals the ball away. She's to the rim. 34 points, ties a career high for Alexis Peterson.
And you never want to speak too soon, but you're starting to feel the game slip a little bit away from NC State, 2.5 to play.
It's a 9-point Syracuse lead. Williams to answer. Offensive rebound, Spencer goes up, no, but a foul on Brittney Sykes. That's the 4th foul on Sykes. That's the 5th foul, rather, on Sykes. She was also called for the one a couple minutes ago in the backcourt. Sykes can't believe it. She was knocked to the floor, but unfortunately, because she was on the floor and Spencer was going up for it, there was enough contact. Even though Sykes really isn't in a defensive position, it's sort of just a series of unfortunate events.
And that's big for NC State now. That's SU's second best player going to the bench for the last 2:20. Really, that gives the Wolfpack an even better chance, obviously, to get back into the game.
Especially with the way that NC State can make three-point shots. Second in the conference with more than 8 made three-pointers per game and a 34% three-point shooting team, as Spencer misses the first free throw. That's 2 misses.
Which is rare for him, or over 80% on the year.
By the way, Sykes leaves the game with those 5 fouls after scoring 17 points on the game and collecting 5 rebounds plus 5 assists. 1 of 2 for Maya Spencer. She has 12 points, and now Peterson's fouled in the backcourt. Only the 4th team foul on NC State. So the Orange has to inbound in the backcourt.
And earlier Moore was talking to the official. He was a little bit upset that the call where Spencer hit the deck on the block S for Syracuse, it wasn't made, and Peterson was able to go score 2. He's asking if that's a foul, how come when our player was fouled, it wasn't called?
8-point Syracuse lead as we approach the 2-minute mark of this 4th quarter. Peterson's guarded by Dominique Wilson. 10 to shoot. Peterson double teamed and a foul called. Wes Moore just said, "Are you kidding me?" Nelson hopped out. It did look like she was in pretty decent defending position.
Yeah, that's twice Alexis Peterson has faced some pressure way away from the bucket, and the foul's been called. A bit fortunate.
This is for a new career high for Alexis Peterson, and she has it. 35 points for Alexis Peterson.
She's been fantastic tonight.
Peterson 7 for 8 from the free throw line. Add 1 more to that. 36 points for Alexis Peterson, and a foul in the backcourt.
Slim attempted to take a charge, but it's called a block.
Running out of room on my chart for the amount of points that Alexis Peterson has, 36 of them. As this one, once again, another one of those. Slim might have gotten her foot to the sideline there. That's what you're taught. Get your foot on the sideline so there's no doubt, but maybe just a half step too late. As Williams with 12 points, all of them have been from three-point range. And she can't connect on the free throw. Williams, a 62% free throw shooter, 8 of 14 now from the line this season.
I got to say, it's tough, very tough to officiate Syracuse just because Orange plays so fast and so physical.
1 of 2 for Ashley Williams. She has 13 points. Syracuse up by 9, less than 2 to play. Peterson gets double teamed, still holds the ball. The triple team comes, and now she's just fouled. No need to give it up if you're Peterson. Might as well send all 5 at her. she's not turned the ball over.
Yeah, closing in on a 40-point performance now. And that one earlier, we've talked about some dubious fouls. That one, I think, was pretty clear.
Peterson's first shot is good. Now, this is the first time that a player has scored more than 35 points since Nicole Michael scored 36 against Binghamton in 2009. The program record is 41 points. That's back in 2005.
She could get close, Michael.
Peterson at 37 right now, and especially if NC State's going to keep fouling, you'd expect Peterson to be the one at the line. Game's not over yet, though, as Nelson inside finishes. 16 points for Chelsea Nelson. Wes Moore wanted travel instead. A block is called against Ashley Williams. That is Williams' third foul. And Peterson, once again, is to the line for 2 free throws.
Moore wanted a travel call there, and it wasn't. Peterson back to the line.
AP will be in the line for 2 shots.
Peterson's 9 for 11 from the free throw line. Number 38 for Peterson. What more can you say about Alexis Peterson? 39 points.
Yeah, there's certainly not much. Tonight she has been on fire.
Nelson inside. No. Rebound for Matherin, and she is fouled.
Foul number 55, Briana. That's the quota of 5 personal fouls on Briana.
That's the 5th foul on Briana, so that's the 2nd Syracuse player to foul out. And Coach Q calls his team over. He got 30 seconds to put in a sub, so might as well use those 30 seconds. Now Julia Chandler checks into the game, so the official will now break up a little meeting of the minds for both teams. Matherin's an 87% free throw shooter, only has missed 3 times this season. She now has 9 points. 80 seconds left in this one. Well, NC State's the team that normally does it with the defense. 2nd in the ACC, 16th in the nation, only giving up about 54 points per game. Syracuse well over that mark. In a battle of one of the best offensive teams against one of the best defensive teams, it's been the Syracuse offense that has prevailed so far. And now Peterson has a chance to tie the program record for most points in a game. The record is 41. That was back in 2005 against Colgate. Peterson doing it against NC State.
Yeah, that's remarkable. It's a conference opponent and a good one at that. Don't forget NC State, number 23 in the nation. Alexis Peterson, it's not Colgate, this is the Wolfpack.
Peterson with 40 points. Now 41. Ties a program record. First time an SU player has scored 40 points since 2005. Alexis Peterson leaving her stamp on this program. Nelson inside, and she finishes. Chelsea Nelson has been the star for the Wolfpack. 18 points for her. Peterson would have had an open layup. Instead, she's fouled. Peterson has half of Syracuse's points, more than half. 41 of 81 points.
That's remarkable.
13 for 15 from the free throw line, and there is your program record. The most points ever scored for a Syracuse women's basketball player, 42. And why not add one more? 43 points for Alexis Peterson, and SU leads by 10. Wilson from deep, and this one goes out of bounds to Syracuse.
Let's put Peterson over the top. The free throws, 15 of 17 from the charity stripe tonight. Now she'll go back.
Alexis Peterson, most games is the best player on the court. And tonight, she has shown why Coach Quentin Hillsman loves her so much. I mean, you can't say much more.
Yeah, and at 5'7", being able to score the ball like this, that is what's so impressive about it. You usually think if you're going to be a big scorer in college basketball, you got to be a little bit taller, but don't tell that to Alexis Peterson. 5'7", and now over 40 points. Just a fantastic, fantastic performance. I'm running out of adjectives.
Career high in points, free throws attempted, free throws made. And she has 45 points. Also tied her career high in three-point field goals made with 6. Peterson, 45 points, 4 rebounds, 3 assists, 3 steals. Matherin from outside, no. Nelson gets the rebound, and a timeout for Wes Moore. Moore talking it over with her team as the crowd has just been informed that that is a new program record, the 45 points for Alexis Peterson.
And one other incredible stat with her, she was the only player in the ACC to average over 20 points per game, and now setting the all-time program record for points in a game. That number is going to increase, not by a little, but by a pretty decent amount. What she's been able to do this year, fantastic, fantastic.
Syracuse's 12-point lead is the largest of the game. NC State led by 13 at one point. This was a 42-29 game with 2 minutes left in the second quarter. Syracuse in this second half has scored 31 fourth-quarter points. The Orange, total for this second half, has scored 53 points compared to just 29 for NC State.
It's been a total switch. Remember, at the half, NC State was shooting 60% from the field. Syracuse made some defensive adjustments, and since then, that number has gone down 10%. So NC State's still shooting pretty well, but Syracuse has just had so many chances because defensively, they're forcing lots of turnovers.
Spencer gets the layup, so it's a 10-point game. Peterson splits the double team. She goes past 4 of 5 NC State players, loses the ball, but Syracuse retains possession. And now Coach Quentin Hillsman calls timeout. Shot clock's off, 18 seconds left in this one. 85-75 the score, as Syracuse is well in command of this one. The Orange set to win its 4th straight game after losing the conference opener to Louisville on the road. And Syracuse looks as good as anyone at this point. And here's Alexis Peterson.
And if Peterson can keep this up, Syracuse obviously already a force to be reckoned with in the ACC, but now even more so. This is a good NC State team. They've beaten two teams in the top 10 this year, Notre Dame and Florida State. For Syracuse, still in search of that marquee win. They beat Michigan State, who was in the top 25, and they'll get a win over NC State tonight. But if Alexis Peterson can play like this, you take Syracuse in any game.
You don't want to discredit what NC State has done either. 5 players in double figures. All 4 of the 5 starters, and then actually all 5 starters scored in double figures for this NC State team. But Wes Moore calls off his Wolfpack team, and behind a program record 45 points from Alexis Peterson, Syracuse upsets 23rd ranked NC State 85-75 to improve to 13-5 overall and 4-1 in ACC play.
It's an all-time performance from Alexis Peterson tonight inside the Carrier Dome. What an absolute treat to be able to do this game with the way Peterson's playing. A remarkable, remarkable night from the senior.
So for Connor Morissette, I'm Michael Tricarico saying so long from Syracuse, where the final score is 85-75. To watch this entire game on replay, as well as other games on our family of ESPN networks, log on to watchespn.com or download the Watch ESPN app. This has been a presentation of ESPN.